For this Dollar Tree DIY, we're going to be needing the following items. I'm going to use the candy dish, the chandelier, Mod Podge, Waverly white chalk paint, Waverly matte finish varnish. I'm going to be using Locktite as my silicone sealer, waterproof sealant, to glue my candy dish onto the top of the chandelier. Some people use E6000. You can use whatever you like. This sets up in like 5 minutes. You'll need an extra bowl, and I'm going to be using sand. Make sure that you wash your glassware so that it's free of any oils or debris, grease, or anything of that nature. Pre-dampen your brush, and using your Mod Podge, you're going to put a thin coat just on the outside of your dish. Next, we're going to take our sand, and we're going to roll our bowl in that sand. This is the white sand from Dollar Tree, and so I'm just using the bowl as my area where I can place that sand. Once you've got your sand coated onto your glass jar, make sure that you wash up your brush so that that is not permanently in your brush with that Mod Podge on it. Now, you can also make you a thin mixture of Mod Podge with a little bit of water, and you're going to spray that directly on the outside so that locks your sand, the drier area on the outside, because you've got it layered on. I'm going to be using the Beacon adhesive spray. You can use any multi-purpose adhesive spray as long as it dries clear, and I'm going to mist that on here and allow my glass jar to dry. So while our jar is drying with the sand, I'm going to use the Waverly chalk paint and paint my lid and my chandelier. Ahead, and I've only allowed my chalk paint just to dry, and I have went ahead and put the wax onto the chandelier, and it's drying right now. And as you can see, you're going to have that distress look because it's going to move that chalk paint and make thin areas as well as full areas. So I want to do my lid to match, and like I said, I have not allowed my paint to dry very long, just enough to get it dry. And I'll do the same thing to this lid because I want that. See how it'll move the chalk paint because it's not had long enough to cure and dry. And then basically I am just going ahead and putting the varnish onto it, and then I will let it smear and work. And that's just another little technique that you can do. A lot of us discover it by accident because we were probably doing a piece, like me, got in a hurry, wanted to go ahead and put the varnish on it, and then that's when you discovered that, oh, well, I pretty much have just moved my paint and made a distressed finish. Now see how I went back and kept working it? Because now that chalk has got mixed up into my varnish, and I'm able to shift it and move it about, and that way I'm going to get low areas of paint, or rather thin, and then I'm going to have thick areas of paint. So it really depends on what look you're going for, and this was the look that I was going for. I wanted it to look vintagey, distressed at the same time, and then that way my lantern will still be sealed. It will still have the white, and it will just look very vintage. So see how you can massage it and just keep working it. And I haven't put no more on there. That's the same amount as I had, and you can actually get it blended. And then the lid, I've stayed away from it for the most part while I was doing this, so that it just gets a thin coat and it has that rubbed look around the sides. And then from a distance, that's going to look so gorgeous. And even when you get up on top of it, it will look just beautiful because, see, I've moved that paint with that varnish, and I'm sealing it, distressing it, and giving it that mystique vintage look all at the same time. Okay, so now it's starting to get tacky, and that's when you want to stop, because then you're going to thin it out too much. I'm just going to let that sit and dry, and it will be dry in no time. And this is probably already dry. So see, this is almost completely dry. And then once this dries, you can go back over it with a second coat of the varnish to give it a seal. So our sand has dried along with the glue that was sprayed onto the jar. And now it's good and sealed and will stay on there and no shedding. And as you can see really good. And the sand turned out really great. Just allow it that drying time. And once I used the Mod Podge, I also went back over this with the spray adhesive and just let it dry. Better than clear coat. I've already added a additional coat of the varnish to the candelier as well as the lid for our jar. Now these are ready to be assembled, the candelier, and I will use the Locktite for this, and it's real simple to apply. We need 2 pieces of ribbon 10 inches long. I have some burlap here that's scrap, so instead of using a ribbon, I'm going to use this burlap. I'm going to make this in around 1.5 inches wide. The reason why we want to cut these two the same size is we're going to make a simple bow. And this is the easiest bow ever. And as you can see, my burlap's just a little bit short, but that's okay. So this is how you make a simple ribbon. You're going to bring it to the middle of your whole fold here. You're going to fold both these in. Okay. Now, I'm doing it one at a time to show you the simplicity of it. This is the burlap piece, and the same here. We're going to fold it inward on top of our buffalo check. And those are a little bit shorter, and that's simply okay. I'm going to actually use a dab of glue because that piece of scrap burlap is shorter, and that will help hold it in place. Might help if I have glue in my glue gun, guys. Okay, so I glued that burlap, just a spot here and a spot here, just to hold it in place. This is a simplified bow. So all you do is you kind of, this is the back side. I'm just kind of pressing mine in. So there's your simplified bow. And if you need to, you can take a pencil and that'll help you work out your bow to straighten it back up. Now before we do anything with this bow, I'm going to just hold it in my 2 fingers. You're going to take this ribbon, and the easy way with wired ribbon is you're just going to find the center and you're going to twist it. Okay, that's it. Just twist it, just like that. And because of the piece that we're putting this on, angled cuts are going to be best. So let's do an inward angle. So let me start on this side. We want our angles to come inward. So you'll go to the outside and you'll cut to the inside. It's going to go to the back side of this bow. And you can pretty much glue that into place. And then we're going to place the bow right in the center. This one right here, right in the center of that. And that is your simplified bow. Now if you feel like you need to, you can wrap. You can take your G-twine and wrap around it and give it a tie just to make sure it stays in place as far as the actual bow. Make sure it doesn't come unpinched because it is glued. So now we have our little simple bow. You can take your chenille stem, wrap it around it, and I always kind of check and see how much I'm going to need to twist it behind it. You can take and grab that around there. I give it a complete roll to the back. I go ahead and I twist that in the back of the bow. Now, you can just tie it onto your lantern. And that will give you your everyday bow. Now, our one for Thanksgiving, this one is 10 inches, this is 8 inches, and the shortcut to doing these angles is you can do one this way, and then you'll do one this side the opposite way. And just basically, you need a good sharp pair of scissors. These have really gotten dull. So we have our tails for our ribbon. For this part, I'm going to take the burlap strips that we pulled out of the previous bow, and I'm going to lay them right there across this bow. And once again, just so they'll stay there temporarily until I get this around to the back, I'll put a dab of glue on them, just a smear really. You can put it on the ribbon itself if you want. We're going to flip that over, cut that off, fold it to the inside in the middle, and then these you just squeeze it together just like that into the center. Just take that piece of jute twine or burlap string, which is jute twine, tie it in the center. My tails. Now we've got our chenille stem, and we will glue that in the back across this way so that we can secure it onto our lantern. Just add us a little bit of decoration on there. Okay, so this will be our autumn decoration for our lantern. And once again, we've got our chenille stem, and tie that on it. Okay, for our Christmas one, once again, this ribbon is 10 inch, and this truck ribbon, the little truck ribbon I got from Walmart, it is also 10 inch. And this particular one for the tails on this inches. Now once again, on this tail, we're doing angles, okay? So for me, it's easier if I go ahead and I twist that ribbon in the center, a full twist, okay? That's all you got to do, one full twist. And the angles on stuff like this, to me, look better angled. But since this one is Christmas, I tell you what, let's do a dovetail. If you fold it in half and your wire to the outside, okay? Wire to the outside and you're right-handed, you're going to cut at an angle in towards the wire, all the way to the tip, okay? And the opposite side same way. So if you're left-handed, then turn the wire to the right. And once again, taking your scissors and at an angle from the inward all the way to the tip of the wire. And just make a good clean sweep. And there you go. You have your angles. So if you take it in the center and give it a full twist, okay, and that way you've got your ribbon and it'll have that natural little pleat to it, and it just looks really, really neat. So we have our tails made, okay? Now to get our bow made, we're going to take our 10-inch ribbon, and we're going to put a spot of glue at each end and run this through the center. So now for this one, once again, flip it over, bend your bow inward, bring it to the center. And this ribbon is from Dollar General, and it's a better quality, so it's stiffer. It is the burlap. And to keep that in place, I'm going to turn those in and put a little glue there. we've got our Christmas bow to go on our lantern. Once again, taking our chenille stem around it. And voila, we have our Christmas decor ribbon for the holiday to go on our lantern. Okay guys, so we have accomplished our Charles Dickinson inspired Christmas past lantern made with sand globe. And this is wonderful for every single day of your farmhouse decor as well as your fall decor and Christmas decor. If you enjoyed this video, I certainly appreciate the thumbs up, and that lets me and YouTube know that you enjoyed it and would like to see more of the like. If you would, please read the comments and suggestion boxes down below. Everyone who subscribes to my channel is considered part of my DIY team, and I welcome you. So I look forward to chatting with you, and let me know which one of these is your favorite out of the ribbons that we make, and if you will be using yours on a daily basis or through the holiday. Until the next DIY, I wish you all a happy Thanksgiving, a Merry Christmas, and a coming Happy New Year. This is Elizabeth. Till the next DIY, I'll be crafting y'all. Bye.